We have to fight this in the courts. We have to fight this in the Congress. We have to fight this in the streets. Stop the coup. Stop the grift. Stop Elon Musk.
YouTube, what's going on? Good morning, good noon, good night. It's your boy Rowdy, and we back with another video. Listen here, we gonna talk about today the state of the Democratic Party. There's some issues that I want to address. I kind of had a rant video earlier, but we're going to kind of address what they have going on right now. They finally were able to elect their DNC chair. So we're going to kind of go from that. I believe Fox News is reporting on it. So we're going to go from that and kind of just give our input. You feel me? We're going to get right into it. All right. Let's get to it.
Democrats are looking to get back in action after their brutal election loss, with the new DNC chair insisting his party is still alive and kicking.
We're not dead as a party. We're still alive and kicking, and we're going to fight for our values, and we're going to fight for American values. And we're on the side of hardworking men and women who just want the country to not forget about them, to make sure that we are centering their lives and focusing again on making the American dream real for all Americans.
Look at this foolishness. See, they want to sit there and pull the wool over my eyes and keep telling me how dumb of a person I am for voting the way I voted. But these are the issues that they're worried about. Why is your reproductive rights, when you control who can reproduce with you, why is that so important? Why is the fact of who you want to love more important than climate change? More important than the economy and inflation? You can live and make better choices and not have to have a situation where you need to delete your child. Because majority of those situations are controllable. And majority of the states have avenues if they aren't controllable situations, if you're catching my drift. So if you've made the decision to do what you want to do and you're just not ready, that's on you. LGBTQ policy. Again, there's nothing wrong with the decisions you want to make, but that should not be important. Because you can be that regardless of how the world's going. If you feel like you're born that way, you're going to be that way. If there was fires in LA, that didn't change your sexuality. There was hurricanes in the southern corridor of the United States that didn't change the people's sexualities. So you're going to be that regardless. But the things that we need to change and worry about is climate change and how we're contributing to the climate change and the economy. Why is it at the bottom? But then you want to figure out why you lost.
But the party faces quite the dilemma, with voters seeing Democrats putting social issues ahead of economic problems. So how can they regain America's trust? Democratic strategist and pollster Doug Schoen joins us now. Hey, Doug.
Ugh.
Good morning.
Hey, Ainsley, how are you?
I'm
Doug,
doing well. What do you think of that message? Do you think the Democratic Party is dying?
Well, I don't think it's dying, but it sure isn't doing much to reclaim its position or to resuscitate its brand. Fundamentally, I think the party should be cooperating with President Trump, where the issues he's taking on, like immigration, have broad public support, the economy, where broad public support, reducing the size of government. You can differ with the president on substance, where in fact that is in line with party principles, but to just oppose him and just fight him proved to be a recipe for failure in the last election, and we're facing the consequences, Ainsley, of that right now.
Yeah, Doug, let me show you an example, because Politico has a great article talking about how the Democrats are miscalculating this, how they're complaining about Elon Musk and DOGE, and DOGE is just cutting wasteful spending. And they're saying Americans, they don't like it when we're giving our money to foreign countries. We would rather cut that. The Democrats are up in arms, though, about what Elon Musk is doing. Watch this.
What's happening right now is a hostile takeover of the U.S. government.
All of those accesses are cut off. So we might actually see somebody get killed.
I'm going to tell you right now, people are going to die in very large numbers around the world who are expecting the United States to live up to our promises, to get them medicine, to get them help.
If this were happening in any other country right now, I promise you, I'd be on the air calling it a coup.
Doug, when I see that, I see fear mongering. And then I hear Donald Trump and I see what he's doing and I think common sense.
Exactly. And that's what we needed. And that's what a lot of people, including the people that they're crying about, these illegal aliens, the ones that are legal, these Hispanics, excuse me, that's who voted. Majority, a lot of them voted for Trump. So to be foolish and try to act like that's not what's going on, like we don't want change. We wanted change. We voted for change. To tell us that we were only, if we would have voted for Kamala, we would have gotten the same thing as we did under Biden. We voted for change. If they would have presented a better candidate who had better policies, then maybe, or a stronger candidate with better qualities, then maybe that wouldn't have happened. I don't understand what they're trying to get out of this. What she just said is really that in a nutshell. Trump is going to common sense, and the Democrats are sitting there spewing nonsense. To cry about Elon Musk getting into the government spending, having access to the spending in the budget, we are trillions of dollars in debt. Elon Musk is one man, and he's worth almost $500 billion. One man. So to sit there and try to act like he couldn't do, what other options do we have to stop this unnecessary spending and us from going and turning into a third world country one day? Because at some point, we going to have to pay the piper. China being real nice with us right now. So at some point, when are we going to give that money back? Trillions of dollars in debt.
And I think this progressive message of focusing on the wrong thing, on all these social issues versus the economy, was a mistake for the Democrats. What do you think?
Well, Ainsley, you make a number of points. Let me take them up. First, Americans want a smaller government. That is undeniable. Second, it is entirely appropriate to say to President Trump, we don't think we need to cut a third of the budget. We don't need to eliminate the number of employees he is talking about with Elon Musk talking about reducing. But there is clear desire to reduce the size of government, and internationally, the scope of foreign aid is almost certainly too broad and less targeted to where our friends and allies are. I think we Democrats do a much better job looking at the policies and offering alternative visions and alternative policies rather than, as you rightly put it, Ainsley, fear-mongering, scaring people, and engaging in reckless hyperbole.
Doug, what is your message for Ken Martin, the new DNC chair?
Focus on working people, focus on job creation, education that gives people the opportunity to get training for the jobs that exist, get inflation down, and work constructively, as Bill Clinton did with the Republicans after the 1994 election, so that there is a consensus of Americans supporting goals we all support, not supporting the extreme left-wing cultural agenda that you put up on the screen that people believe the Democrats do support.
So let me give what he said in layman's terms. Instead of combating all of the policies or all of the things that they feel like are a problem, combat exact his policies. So you feel like he's going about the economy wrong. What is your direct answer for the issues that we have with the economy? What can you do as the Democratic Party, as the democracy of this country? What can you do to help with the economy? What can you do to help with climate change? What can you do to limit government? Because we want less government. What can you guys do directly to combat what Trump has in place? Instead of calling him names, telling him that he's so and so from Germany, and saying all of these other stupid things that aren't going to do anything for us. Calling him names and speaking from hate does not improve the fact that we are in debt. Sorry. So what are we going to do? It's not going to secure our border. We have an issue at the border. To pretend that we don't is asinine. We have an horrible issue at the border. Okay, so how can we rectify this and combat directly his policy at the border instead of crying about what he's doing? Shut up and fix it. Come up with something to fix it. Sitting there crying. This does not, it makes no sense. The repeated crying. The American people can, but the government, you have more knowledge of what's going on. So there's no reason that the left, these leaders, should be crying about what's going on. No, shut up and come up with policies that can improve the United States and make us more secure. So we can, if you want to help these other countries, we need to be secure and have more financial stability in order to do so. That's common sense. But all we get is Trump bad because we can't do what we want to do with our bodies. Trump bad because he wants to send illegal people who are committing a crime by entering his country the way they are. That's bad. The word of the century is about to be disingenuous because it's definitely the word of the decade, because there's nothing more foolish to try to sit there and try to say that you guys had the answer to all of our problems in Kamala. You didn't. We didn't have him in Biden, but we sure enough did not have them in Kamala.
Yeah, I mean, Doug, I'm listening to Maxine Waters and Chuck Schumer, and they're just screaming at the podium. What do you make of the Democrats' message? Is it working?
Ainsley, with all due respect, I don't think there is a message. I think their message is hate and fear and opposition, a message that failed. I think they need to do a retrospective on the election and come up with a broad centrist agenda that takes the best of what the present administration is doing, offer alternative policies to arguably strengthen those policies, make them more efficient and more in line with what the American people, and particularly working people, people of color, those without high school, college educations want. We'll be much better off doing that rather than hate, division, polarization, and fear-mongering.
Doug, will you stay in the party?
I am in the party for now. I lean independent. I hope I can come back to the Democratic Party as I did when Bill Clinton moved to the center. But these are very much open questions, Ainsley.
Doug, thank you so much for coming on. Always great to see you.
Some island, and he's just doing all of this himself. No, the office is doing this, is in the executive office, and he calls the president and tells the president, okay, this is what I found. And then he says, the president said, cut it, get rid of it.
Right.
And then Elon goes back to the president, he goes, are you sure, sir? Do you really want this to happen? He goes, yes, but the way that they're spinning it is totally inaccurate.
Well, and you know, if you went out on the street and you did a poll about, okay, if we're going to cut the federal bureaucracy, because we know it's bloated and we know there is a lot of waste, where should you just start? Polls have shown historically that you start with foreign aid because it's simply because the federal bureaucracy is already unpopular. But by sending the money that we make here in the United States over there for who knows what,
Steve,
you know, it just misses the mark.
Did you see?
So before she go, here we go. This is the perfect prime opportunity to say, instead of crying, we won't quit, get y'all behinds in there and figure out what is better the solution than this. If you feel like you have a better solution, fight back on this. Else, shut up. We don't have time to be sitting here crying about these issues. Come up there. This is exactly what Trump wants to do. He wants to cut the foolishness. And these people don't deserve to have jobs if they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Republicans and Democrats, there's certain things idealistically that we should disagree on, but we should have the same mindset as far as trying to secure the country, trying to secure the economy, and crime is crime. That should be a default across all people, all lenses, even just morally. There shouldn't be all of these nuances that they're trying to provide with all this hate and fear mongering. The time of hate and fear mongering needs to stop if we're going to strengthen that half of the country. Crying about Trump did something else today. Trump said something else today. Why aren't we hearing what the Democrats have for us? Because they have nothing. Thank you. There it is. There's the answer.
Maxine Waters, did you see Chuck Schumer? These Democrats are having a meltdown about saving money. Listen to this.
Go for this.
Elon Musk.
Shut down the Senate! We are at war! Anytime a person can pay $250 million into a campaign and they be given full access to the Department of Treasury, we are at war!
That's a bad standstill. I'm sorry. Listen, here's how goofy these people are. Kamala Harris was given over $2 billion. Granted, a lot of that money went in debt. She wasn't just paying celebrities, and she wasn't being paid out of her own pockets, because it's billions of dollars, which is a lot of money. So because she was given that money, who do you think would have been running this country? Kamala or the people who gave her the $2.5 billion? Right. So, fine. Elon paid $250 million into Trump's campaign, and Trump was able to win. You know what? You can call it what you want to call it. Fine. I'll agree with that. There's a big question there, but we know that. We know who it was. We know how much it was, and we know what it was for. The same is consistent. They're pretty consistent with what they're doing. We know what they're doing. We know who is doing it. And we know where that they're trying to cut. They are originally starting with foreign aid. That's what they're starting with, because they're telling us. So you here again, this is the common sense issue that we're having. They're telling us. We knew nothing about even Kamala. We still to this day don't know if she's black or not. Which is irrelevant, sure, but we don't know. Let me fix this screen. She look wild.
Have convened here in the right place, the Treasury Department. Right. We have got to tell Elon Musk, nobody elected you. Did anybody?
He ready to be the last one.
Vote for a government of billionaires for billionaires? No! Are you ready to stand up and defend our democracy? Yeah! What we're in the face of right now is an authoritarian takeover of our country, and we say hell no.
This is where we are, people. This is literally where we are. There's an innate problem with the mindset of these people. They look like big children up there, pouting and having temper tantrums. Because Trump is trying to change things in the economy, and he's given access to Elon Musk to do so. My thing is, Elon Musk, again, as I said earlier, is a $500 billion. He's almost at a $500 billion. I think it's like almost 500 billion. So one man being worth that kind of money, just one, he got to be doing something, right? I mean, so the issue is these people at the top, like the Chuck Schumers, these people know if they cut foreign aid, there's some kickbacks that they ain't gonna get no more. Don't let these people lie to you. The foreign aid situation, a lot of them have connections. And Kamala had connections with these billionaires who also had connections overseas. So we can ignore the fact that no matter who would have won, they would have been basically rented out. And more so her. She would have just been a vessel. Just like Biden. Biden was a vessel. All Kamala was a vessel. You can see in these you can see in the interviews that she was in that she was nothing but a woman vessel in a pantsuit. She didn't do nothing. So because of that, what are we going to do? But I believe I've ranted enough. I've talked enough. That's enough. So anyway, I want to open this up. I would love to have some conversations with y'all. Talk to me. Chop it up. Let me know how you feel. If you can, like, comment, subscribe. It don't cost you no money. It don't do nothing else but help me. And I would like for you guys to help me so I can give you guys more content. If you do not feel like I have a lot of value, let me know what I can improve upon. Because I'm trying to, get my name out there so I can, affect the next person. And let people know that we're being lied to by the left. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe if I haven't said that already. And I'm going to holler at y'all in the next one. All right. Peace.